guys, welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to be wrapping up the bed of the hot rod by building the tailgate. So I've got this 3/4 by 3/4 square tubing. It's 1/8 inch wall or 11 gauge. Basically what we're going to do is make a big rectangular box out of this stuff. Then we're going to make cut some sheet metal to attach to it. Probably going to do some fun with the bead roller. Thinking a Chevy bow tie, maybe a little stepped flange, something nifty and custom. And then I'm going to have to figure out I'll have to figure out the hinges, but right now what I'm thinking I'm going to do is pull the bumper off. I might remount the bumper a little lower and have some plate come off to the side so I can have a pin running through that, and that'll be our hinge for our tailgate. That's kind of how I've seen a lot of them work. Some of them have just been hinge out the bottom or pin out the bottom and then a little bracket that bolts on up here, but I don't have too much good going on with these ends, so I may end up having to cut into this one. But we'll have a plate down there and there, and then we should hopefully have a good hinge on our tailgate. So yeah, let's get started. I'll make some measurements for this guy. Looks like I want to make sure I'm going on the inside of these little nubbins. Though I suppose I could cut them if I wanted. And actually, cutting is not the worst idea. But on the inside, we're looking at 45 and 3/8. And if I went up here, yeah, okay, those are pretty good. So I'm going to make my box 45 and 3/8 wide, and my overall height is, looks like 14 inches will be perfect. We'll call it 13 and 7/8. So I got all those bits cut, and now it's time to tack them together. Breaking the old welder out, and yeah, so just gonna tack this side together, and then just kind of keep flipping, and because I've got this kind of 90-degree jig set up here, so I'm gonna just keep flipping it using this one. Alrighty then, that's not too bad. So we'll have we're a little bit tight right there. So I guess I made this just a little bit wider than I would have liked. But yeah, it's showing its shape. That's pretty much going to be it. I'll probably not going to change the shape of this, but I will kind of grind those down a little bit to give myself a little more room. But yeah, I'm liking that. It's looking pretty square. So gonna put it back on the table and we'll burn it in. Okay guys, so I've been a little bit busy. The grinder's still turning. So basically what I did was made some plates that will bolt into this little cross piece right there. I would have shown you how to do it, but I don't think this is mild steel because I kept roasting drill bits. I ended up using wherever it is. I ended up using a burr for a rotary tool to get most of these holes in after killing my drill bits on this one. But this bit is actually mild steel. This right here was a piece of angle iron. Cut them in half, made some mirrored images, and what they're going to do is that's going to slip over here, bolt in, like so. Then I'm going to weld around that, and that will be our hinge. Oh, and forgot to mention under here, of course, cardboard template for the for those first halves. Second half, this was just done by eye, and I think I like it. So I'm gonna get both of these in, bolt it up, and then we'll weld them in. So now I have tailgate. I pretty much just gotta skin it and then do the whatchamacallits, chains. And like I said, I'm gonna probably nip those ends off so that this actually goes in smooth. But right now I don't hate it. Cool. So yeah, also I was thinking just for rigidity, I am going to probably put 2 bars right there. And then I'll just do a bead rolled section there, and in the middle, and probably a little Chevy bow tie in the middle if I'm feeling up to it. So yeah, that's about it on this, and I'll see you. Hopefully I'll have some bits in the middle. Alright guys, there we go. Tailgate, got those little bars installed, or cut and installed, and also made some little brackets for the side. So those guys, basically, it's basically just some angle iron. I drilled 2 holes and then cut them out with the body saw, finished off with the file. Welded it on, still have to grind it off, same with those guys. I do want this to be nice and smooth. Not that I don't like my welds, I just want it to look nice and smooth. So yeah, next step is going to be to cut some sheet metal. Got some kind of over there. You can see past that drip pan. That's what I'm going to end up cutting down and use for this. Alright guys, so got my panels made, or cut rather. Went to work, borrowed the big old stomp shear. I did make this in 3 sections. Basically I just cut it and then I just cut it there. The main reason for that is because I'm going to put a little Chevy bow tie in the middle, and I didn't think I was going to have enough clearance from here to here on the on my bead roller. So cut it in thirds, and that seam is going to be held behind or hidden behind the vertical bars. But to make sure everything goes right into place properly, now that I've got it laid out here nice and even, we're going to take some little self-tappers, put them in each of these guys, and that'll hold everything in place while we bead roll it, and then when we're done, when we weld it together. So got my impact, got some of these guys. I'm going to put them kind of randomly, and that'll also help from help keep me from putting them in the wrong spot later on. High quality bits. I just shattered the tip off of that one on the first go. All right. Well, I'm going to swap that bit out, get the rest of them drilled, and then I'll meet you back. All right, we are back. Got the rest of the screws put in. I ended up doing 3 per panel because that's really all I needed to keep them mostly in place. They are a little bit at random with some rough pattern, but that'll keep me from putting this one here and this one here and all that. So we'll flip it front side up, and now you've got a little bit of an idea of what I was going to do. So basically, I'm gonna run a stepped edge on each of these panels, and in the middle, I'm gonna put a little Chevy bow tie. So first thing I'm gonna do is take a measurement. So we are 13 or 14 and a skosh over 3/8. So it's actually, yeah, skosh over 3/8. So I'm going to split that in half. It's going to be 7 3/16, maybe a little bit more. Right there. What am I right here? 3/8 on the nose. So and 3/16. So those are my dots that I'm going to use for my. Going to basically draw a center line. I do need. Is this big enough? No. I do need a piece of something to work as a straight edge. Well, I'll just connect the dots. So that's going to be my center line. Now I need to do the same thing for the horizontal, and that's going to be the center mark for the little Chevy emblem I'm going to do. So same idea. So I've got a Chevy bow tie right here. That is one that I just basically I traced the front of the blazer and cut it out. And I'm going to fold this in half, like so. And then in half, like so. So now I'll have basically quadrants that I can line up. And do I have, well, I was going to say, do I have a magnet? I got one right there. So we're going to trace this guy. All right, that is traced. It's going to be my bow tie for the middle. And then the easy part, we're going to run an edge around the corner. And to do that, I'm just going to take this little guy. This is the lock nut for one of my grinders. Smooth those edges out a little bit. But that's going to be where I'm going to do my step. Going to do that on the others. All right. Then I'm going to find something kind of nice and round to actually follow a radius for that. But now I can take these panels off and run them through the bead roller. Got my panel all done up. I did end up tracing some kind of little semicircles, but the more I look at it, the more I'm going to actually just do these tight little circles or tight little radiuses that I got from inside of the inside of that little grinder nut, just because it matches the inside edges a little bit better. Anywho, I've got this guy clamped in there. The roller die is just touching. My handle is off to one side, and actually I'm going to have to move that. We are going to go one full turn and a half. At least that's what I'm going to do for this particular piece. And going to get rolling. All right, finished up with that. The card is very, very low, so it did cut off a little bit. But get that removed. So there we go. It's not the most perfect right now, but I am going to dress that up a little bit with a hammer and dolly. It's going to lightly tap it with the body hammer, and then hit it with a wire brush. That's going to clean up a lot of these kind of scuff marks from twisting it. But yeah, there you go. That's my first Chevy bow tie done on the bead roller. All right, but before I do true that up, I am going to just roll the step in the outside lip. Just like before. Go till it touches. And then I'm going to do one full turn. Alright, there we go. Got a nice step in that. Now I just need to do it on the other two panels. Alright, you can sort of see it definitely looks a little better. I do have a little bit of work to do on these edges, but I might even be able to clean that up when I put with either Scotch-Brite wheel, well, flap wheel for that bit, and then a Scotch-Brite for some of the others. But there's mostly just kind of some surface blemishes. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. Now that I see it, the angles aren't quite right. This kind of does that, and that does that. But you get the idea. And if I really hate it, I can always just remake this panel and start again. But yeah, so that's it for that guy. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put a bunch of holes around the perimeter. And what that'll do is give me a place to plug weld to the back side of the frame. Still going to keep those ones in place because that's going to be where I actually screw it. But yeah, so drill press, I'm going to put a small drill bit in here and just drill into a block of wood. Nothing you probably need to see. But yeah, going to drill that out on the other panels as well. We'll get it set up and we'll start welding them in. Alrighty then, got everything, all the holes drilled, got it screwed down, a couple clamps for good measure. So yeah, let's get this thing attached for real. Okay, so got all those plug welds plugged or welded. So now, could have done this earlier, but now I can pull the screws out that I was using to hold everything in place, and then I can weld those holes closed. So, now that that's taken care of, really it's just a matter of cleaning it up. I'm going to take the flap disc to it, and then we'll splash some paint on it and stick it on the truck. Alrighty then, got it all cleaned up. I could smooth this out a little bit more and fill these holes because I did burn through, or not really burn through, but I didn't fully hit some of these. But kind of in keeping of the rustic theme, I think showing some like visible spot welds on the inside is going to kind of add to the character. I mean, partly it's that I'm being lazy, but also character. I mean, it doesn't take that much to fill these, but yeah. Anyway, so now we'll see kind of how that looks. So yeah, basically what I'm going to do next is splash some paint on it and see where it goes. I think I'm going to hit it, I think I've got some kind of reddish brown primer. Then I'll hit it with flat black, especially on the inside. And for the front, I'm going to try to see if I can mix some browns in with the black and try to get it to kind of match the rest of this patina. We'll see how that goes. Alright, the paint's still a little bit wet, But got the tailgate pretty much done. So I am going to lock it back up in place. And we'll see how it looks. I feel like I'm leaving marks. But there we go. You can sort of see I got a little bit of the bow tie action going on. The paint itself didn't turn out all that well. I thought I was going to go for a cool kind of splotchy thing. I might end up, once it's dry, I'll probably sand it. Or I'll just repaint it all in that color or that color, either of which look pretty good. But it really just looks like a really bad desert camo right now, so I'll probably have to change that. But it is a tailgate, and it does work. So now the next step we got to do is hook up the chains, so we can, or hook up our hooks and the chains, so we can, you know, have the tailgate down and have it secured, because most of the time you just put a hook, or just slipping the hook through this is actually what keeps it latched. So I picked up some chain from the store. This is some stainless chain. I can't remember the size, but you know, I thought it looked about right. Maybe a little on the small side. And if I really want to, I might put a some sort of a sheath over this. But for now, I kind of like the raw look. So I'm going to basically just bolt that guy down. I've got some S hooks as well. I might end up making my own S hooks if I don't like the way this turns out. These are a little bit small. But that'll basically hook like so. I'll probably squeeze that in just a little bit. Anyway, so S hook. Figure out. That looks a little bit low. That's about perfect, actually. So I'm going to leave it a little bit long. I'm going to keep an extra link on here just in case. But I'm going to cut that, and I'm going to squish that S hook, and we're going to do the same on the other side. All right. All right. Now we have tailgate. So now close that up. Put that in there like so. And the bed won't open. I may end up replacing these with like little carabiners or something, but I figured the S hooks are probably good enough for now. Anywho, so that's going to be it. That should wrap it up for now. That is a tailgate. Like I said, once the paint dries, I'll probably scuff it up a little bit, see if I can't get it to kind of match the rest of the patina. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to probably just paint it that solid brown. All right, guys, thanks for watching. That's all for now. I'll see you next time. Still recording. All right. Can you see what's going on? You kind of can.